Jackie Rossi, and my direct compliments were blue and orange. And this was a really sort of a happenstance. I decided last time that being the holidays and all that, and I don't have my own sewing space that isn't the dining room table right now, I thought, I cannot deck out the dining room table for 3 weeks with fabric and play with color like I have done. I need to do something that I can do and put away. And so after class, I looked for yarn, and I had this grand plan of crocheting or knitting something with all these colors, and I started playing with all the yarn that I found, and it was so not working. It just, I just couldn't come up with a balance that really showed the differences in color, and I thought, I will never use this, I don't even like the way it looks. And at the same time, we were rebuilding this lamp, and I was struggling to find a shade for it. And Sally had done something with a little shade with yarn, and I remembered it, and I thought, I'm going to play with the yarn and with the color. And by doing this, I learned a lot about the strength of complements. I stuck to things that are mostly shades, I think, because I didn't want the colors to be in your face, because I want to use this in my living room. So I just played with the yarn and started tying it, and then I would go back and add more. But what struck me is I have some wide bands of the orange in here.
On this side.
Yeah, and on this side, some really wide bands. And I was thinking, at first I thought that by doing this, that these would really, really stand out. But what I found, to me, when I did these single strands in here, that color, it seemed like it popped more to me, even. And I think because on the back side, where they are the wider bands, because they're more equal, then they just kind of, they blend together more, or it's not as, the contrast isn't as great to me as just putting this single strand really makes that orange stand out.
The reason that's doing that is because of a word called luminosity. Anytime you have something very small and bright, surrounded by areas that are larger and dark and dull, that small light thing is going to glow a little bit. So you're going to see it more quickly. So that's what's actually happening here, is that this orange is luminescing against that blue. Whereas here, it's too big to luminesce. It has to be really small with big things around it. So when you look outside and you see the stars at night, stars seem really small compared to the immense sky. That's what allows that star to luminesce. If the star is really big and the sky is really small, then it can't luminesce. So that's what this is doing, and that's why it's getting your attention more.
Okay. And that was, this one yarn, this was probably, this is a pure hue.
Yeah, and it's got lots of intention to it.
More than any other yarn that I use.
And then is your lampshade paper color?
It is. It is just
a
paper color, and it actually even has a hole in it. And I've been, that's why I had to well, you can't find it. The shade has a hole in it, and I couldn't find a shade that I liked. So now
So it's completely inside too. She's just wrapped it and then tied it. It's a great technique.
It's just tied.
And I just love this fringe. So you don't have to quilt. You don't have to finish a quilted product. You can still learn about color by playing. Now, probably one of the main reasons this wasn't working for you as a knitted project was this is a hard combination to wear. So unless you're going to a Broncos game, you probably don't want a scarf or a hat or something like that that's with this direct complement. Whereas some of the other direct complements are much easier to wear. But this is a difficult one to wear.
And that's another, bringing up the Broncos, that's another part of what I was determined to do, because I remember when I bought all my yarn, I came up with my piles of blues and orange. Sally's first comment was, "Oh, you're going to make a Bronco something," and I thought,
No,
no. Au contraire, I am not. And so that was my goal here too, was to use those two colors and make it not be a Bronco thing. Because everybody who saw that yarn said, "Oh, you're going to make a Bronco." Yeah. Oh no, I would not be doing that. So anyway, I had so much fun with it.
Well, you have such great, now you said mostly shades, but there are a lot of tones in here. A lot of things
Oh,
are really
yes,
great.
they
there.
are
So
tones.
shades and tones and tinted tones. Remember, if you take something and make it light and make it a tint and then add just little bits of gray to it, that it's going to become a dirty tint.
Right.
So we have lots of that, just little peaks of close to the pure hue. Lots of different textures, visual textures and tactile textures, so lots of very interesting fibers. I think one of the great things is the smooth, flat ribbon that you put in there, too.
And what this is,
really important.
remember the fabric that we got at the end of class?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
The freebies?
Yeah.
This is
You just
just
stripped it.
strips of it
Wonderful.
and tucked it underneath. And
Very
that
good.
worked.
Very
And
good.
then I have, this has this little fringe,
It is
and there are
wonderful.
a few that have some sparkles in it.
Mhm. So again, variety makes it much more
I had
interesting.
so much fun
Good.
with this.
Very cool.
And-
It's a very nice piece.
Oh, and Vicki found it. And it
Oh, let's plug it in
so
real
we
quick.
can
Yeah.
see
Yeah,
what it
let's
looks
see
like.
what it looks like.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, have you used it for like or do you have like a small body